Hello again. Man, I'm gonna eventually get better at starting my intro on videos. This is just weird to me and new, but I'm learning, y'all are learning. It's all good. Exchange of energy, which is leading into what I want to talk about. Exchange of energy. So I want to talk about like building your empire. In my last video, I talked about creating from the inside out, how you want to build this empire up inside of you that's strong and beautiful and whatever you want it to be. You want to build that up so that the outside world doesn't affect you any longer. You know what I mean? Like, oh God. It just, I don't know. It affects you, but not negatively. I don't know. You're just stronger inside, so you can handle things better. You can deal with more things, I guess. But so about building this empire. So we've got your body, the circle from the last video, your inside world. This is your body. This is all of your feelings and thoughts that live in your body, and so you're pretty populated right now. We're all pretty close to like our maximum population of, I don't know, what we can handle. Speaking of that, so see, whenever you learn how to create things from the inside out, because I said that we're pretty at capacity. We're all filled up with all the thoughts and all the feelings that we can handle. What happens whenever you get filled up, you have to become larger. So, like, this is why there's big planets and small planets. There's like little itty bitty pieces of rock, and then there's really big giant planets. There's the sun, which radiates heat and light. Like, there's all kinds of different forms that you can take. And I'm not saying go turn into a rock, but I don't know, I think we probably are rocks anyways, since we're stardust, right? I don't know. But you become bigger, and like your spirit becomes larger. It becomes able to hold more energy, I suppose. But if we're all filled up right now, then in order to start creating this empire that's not so weighed down like it seems to be now, like I want people to be happy and to feel light and to feel capable of handling anything that comes their way, and to be able to use every experience as the information that it really is. Like, every time you interact with anyone or anything, or even just hanging out by yourself, observing the world around you, there's so much information to be taken in from all of those things. And if you're too filled up with like random thoughts that are flying around, then you're not able to take in the information that's around you. So this is like what you do in meditation. You kind of clear out those thoughts for a little bit. Like, you do your 15 minutes of meditation, you're just quiet, you're breathing, you're focusing on your breathing, and your goal is to just be clean, to be clear. And whenever, I don't know, see, I do that all the time. I do that without meditating. I meditate sometimes, like normal sit down and meditate, but more often I meditate while I'm like washing dishes, or while I'm doing laundry, or while I'm driving. I've just gotten really good at cleaning my mind out, because there's a lot of like floating thoughts that can really clutter your mind and make it hard to be able to see what's in front of you and to pick up the information that's trying to get to you. And so So I've gotten really good at like keeping my mind open and clear. That was weird. That was really weird. I've gotten good at keeping my mind clear so that I'm completely open and perceptive to the world around me, whatever it may be. I'm just very observant, I guess. But anyway, so yeah, you gotta clean out some stuff. And whenever you clean out stuff, you see this big space opens up now. You've got that space. And so what it's an open space, and the universe likes to fill in open space. So think of like a cave being formed. It's empty at first, but over time it starts filling up with the stalactites, the stalagmites, the bats, all the life that goes in there, the water that flows through it. It just starts to get filled up because the universe loves to fill in empty space. And whenever you can create that empty space in your mind, then you allow other things to come in. Now, what ends up coming in is going to depend upon your personal pull, your personal gravitational pull that you have to things. So if you're the kind of person that, I don't know, thinks negatively a lot or has a lot of, I don't want to say bad thoughts, because good and bad are very subjective. They really aren't real. It's all one thing. But if you have thoughts that don't feel good, because that's all that matters. Does it feel good or does it not feel good? Because that's all that matters. There's no good, bad. It's does it feel good, does it not feel good? And if you have a bunch of thoughts hanging around that don't feel good, then you're going to keep drawing those. You're going to keep sucking those kind of thoughts to you. And it's really hard at first to get out of that cycle, to stop pulling those things to you, because like I was there. It was really hard for me. I told you I tried to kill myself growing up. I was a really sad child. Like, I don't know. I look at all the things I used to draw. I've got notebooks full of drawings, and they're all so sad, so emo, so just dark and heavy. And I've always felt kind of just heavy, like weighed down, and just recently, really, like within this past year, like this year actually, whenever I moved back home from New Jersey, I moved back home in January, and from then on it's just all kind of changed for me. I've kind of learned how to clean my thoughts out, and it's gonna take a little while. But as long as you're wanting it and working towards it, you're gonna get it. And you just have to be patient. You just have to be patient, and you have to know that it's coming, because it is. As long as you want it, and as long as you spend time towards it, you can't want to clean yourself from all of these heavy, bad feeling thoughts and feelings. You can't do that if you don't pay attention. If you don't pay attention, if you aren't constantly aware of it. You really have to become constantly aware of it, constantly monitoring yourself. Because here's the thing, this is kind of your third eye. Because we know our third eye, whenever we close our eyes, we can imagine things. And we see that as our third eye. But I think also the third eye is up here too. Where you're able to see yourself from an outside perspective. And if you can keep that connection strong, always be here looking at the world from here, and at the same time looking at yourself from here, observing yourself. And if you can get that going, then you're on your way. That's the best tool you can use to do this. You've got to be monitoring yourself, and you've got to know that that negative thoughts are just creations. They aren't necessarily even real. What makes those negative thoughts real is whenever you keep holding on to them and you keep focusing on them, because they keep building up, and then they become real. They will become real. If you can think of a snowball rolling down a hill, picking up more and more snow as it rolls, that's what your thoughts do. So if you've got negative, bad feeling thoughts and feelings, and you can't push them away and pull in some good stuff, if you can't do that, then this one's just going to get bigger, and it just grows. Like a snowball rolling downhill, it just gets bigger until it becomes very hard to handle. And this is like the huge depression, the cloud that hangs over you. Like you just feel so weighed down because you're like, have no positive thoughts, no good feeling thoughts in this bubble you've created inside of your world. Your world has become that. And just realizing that that's what your world has become inside is like the first step, you know? Because once you know it, then you can start detaching from it. And that's a key. You start detaching from it. You start remembering that you are not stuck to any thought. See, thoughts are very sticky. They're very sticky and they'll latch on. And whenever you realize that you don't have to hold them anymore, you like rub away the glue that they have and you just let them go. Because they're not yours. They're just ones that stuck to you. And they're like feeding off of you. Because you keep them real. You keep them real. And so they are real. And they really affect you. It is very real. And whenever you realize that, then you can use your realize, you know, and you can kind of observe yourself more and start throwing them away and start erasing them. Like, oh, I've had enough of those kind of feelings. I don't want those anymore. And you give them up. Just give them up. They aren't you. They're not yours. They don't belong to you. They're not yours anymore. And so you just start giving them up. And you do this slowly. So you gotta slowly do it and feed in some positive. Whatever you can do to feed in positive. This could be listening to inspirational speakers. This could be careful with the music you're listening to. Be careful with the music you're listening to. Pay attention to how that music is making you feel. Pay attention to how people talking to you are making you feel, because that all gets added into you. So if you watch like inspirational speakers, you can listen to some nice nature videos, like music. You can take more walks to the park, you know. Just like being outside, take your shoes off, feel the grass, or just touch it with your hands, you know. Just doing those things adds positive into you, because at this point you're not really going to be able to think of your own positive thoughts to add in. You could, but it's going to be harder to do that. So it's best to let someone else kind of do it for you. You either let nature do it for you, or you let inspirational speakers do it for you. You let music do it for you, but be careful with music. Most music is kind of sad and it's very depressing, and sometimes I don't even listen to songs. Like sometimes I do. I've recently really liked like Russ, or like some gangster kind of songs to like pump up my energy, make me feel like a badass, you know. That's the kind of music I like listening to right now, because it pumps me up. And that may or may not work for you. It depends on where you're at in your journey. And so maybe you don't need to be pumped up. Maybe you go out too much and you're trying to not get into that. So listening to those gangster songs I'm talking about is not going to help you. So just do what feels best to you. And yeah, just start erasing. And slowly, My erasing period took, I would say, 2 years. 2 years maybe, not quite 3. Like 2 years. Hey. But it was just like a scrubbing. I could feel myself getting cleaned. Sometimes I would get like very powerful energy coming in that was healing me. It was very different. It was really cool though. I liked it a lot. It was just very powerful. It was like this energy trying to force it into me, and I could feel it like rewiring my brain. Like I could feel things being erased. Because you know your brain is kind of like rivers, like there's pathways that are very oftenly used, and a lot of times those pathways are the negative ones, the ones that make us sad, the thoughts that we think all the time. I could feel those like being erased and like strong paths being formed, like single ones, not like a bunch of spread off, but now they spread off because of me living life like that, but you know how rivers work. But But yeah, it was really cool. Like energy came down and it was literally, I could feel it scrubbing my brain clean and rewiring me. And that's the cool thing too about the universe, is that you don't have to do this all by yourself. You don't at all have to do it by yourself, because just wanting it is going to bring it to you. And if you can allow it in, I would literally just have to sit. I was hanging out with people and I would literally be like, sorry, this is coming in right now, so just excuse me, and I'd have to sit there and I'd just be like vibrating and just either with my eyes open, just staring at something, meditating like that, or I'd close my eyes. But I would literally just stop in the middle of hanging out with people and take that energy in. See, you know, there's no need to be embarrassed about it. It's healing energy. And yeah, so like your brains will get scrubbed, you'll be okay, we're all working on this together, it's all gonna be good. But that's kind of what happens. It starts cleaning out all of these things. Don't expect the universe to do all the work, because that's not gonna work. You've got to put in the effort, and you've got to just be, when I say put in effort, I mean spend time thinking about it. That's effort. That's it. Spend time thinking about it. Spend time thinking about how you can start pulling more positive energy into you. Yeah, and then you like get filled up, and before you know it, you're just humming with happiness. Like I was a rock in space. I told y'all I was a rock in space that was humming with happiness. And you know, that's just me. I've finally found myself, you know, and I don't know. So if you'd like to be a rock humming with happiness too, follow my channel, subscribe, please. That would be awesome. And I mean, I'll teach you. I will teach you. So anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe, tap the bell, all that good stuff. I'm new to YouTube. It's good seeing you again.